Hello and happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another segment of Q&A Wednesdays. I am your host Intelexx, and before we jump into our topic for today, just a brief commercial announcement. If you have a product, service, brand, or business and you need assistance with leveling up, connect with us. Go to Intelexx.com, see all the products and services that we offer, see if there's anything that's a fit for you, book a free consultation for $99 so that you can get a customized plan specific to your unique artistic needs and be a part of our intellectual community. Join our app, the Artrepreneurs Hub. Right in the Mighty Networks app, download the app, create an account, search for us, we're right there, or you can go to Intelexx.com and click the link that way. It is a place for you to be your unique artistic self. It's a place for you to be around like-minded individuals that you can share ideas with, share content with, create, collab, connect, and all the things. You get exclusive access if you are a VIP member. All right, but we have all the things for you, just for you to be yourself, and another way for you to share your art. All right, so we are going to jump into the topic for today. If you have not been following us, don't worry. We have it on our app, on YouTube, and all the social media platforms. Go back and look. All right, but we are going to move on. Our topic for this month is how can we overcome emotions, part 5. All right, and I want you to drop in the comment section what you do to overcome your emotions, and let's talk about it. This is a discussion, okay? This is not a lecture. This is something that we're going to do together, okay? So let us know here what you do to overcome your emotions or what you've done that has been successful. If you need some help, drop it in the comments too. You might learn something today. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Let's get into it. All right, and thank you all for tuning in, for stopping in, dropping by. We appreciate you here. We wouldn't be here without you, and we hope that you continue to come back and support this platform. We appreciate you. We wouldn't be here without you. All right, so let's get into it.
Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. So we always have lots of people talking about emotional regulation, emotional regulation. Let's talk a little bit about that. One thing we know is that narcissistic people cannot emotionally regulate. And one of the biggest problems, and I'd say the biggest issues in narcissistic relationships originate from the fact that narcissistic people are so dysregulated. They either scream and yell if they don't get their way, or they give you the silent treatment. And long story short, that is how we end up with the eggshell walking, the balancing on a razor that characterizes just about every antagonistic or narcissistic relationship. If you have been in a narcissistic relationship for long enough, or you grew up with a narcissistic parent, you never really got healthy models of regulation. And as a result, raging, screaming anger can become normalized, or any form of anger can become terrifying. Alternately, your fears of abandonment may have been stoked by a parent who expressed their anger through withholding or withdrawal anytime the parent didn't get their way. So from a very early age, you became masterful at completely and utterly catering to the needs of other people. So that may leave you wondering, if all I've ever seen, or most of what I see, is dysregulation or unhealthy regulation, what exactly does healthy regulation look like? Now, if you've never really been in a relationship where that is happening, or you even struggle with it yourself, that may be a big question. By and large, most survivors of narcissistic and antagonistic relationships overregulate. You keep it all bottled up, right? And that definitely is going to take a toll on your physical and your mental health. It's not a bad strategy, right? There's no point in speaking out in the relationship, so the overregulation may be the only way to stay safe. And in fact, speaking out may even make things worse. So maybe for a lifetime, you learn to push it all down and even find that you're not even able to cry or let out emotion in any way. And you may feel quite distanced from how you feel or even what you're allowed to feel. But that, again, begs the question of what this video is about. What exactly then qualifies as healthy regulation? Here are some thoughts on that. And a person who is healthfully regulated, you actually express the emotion appropriately. You give yourself permission to identify the emotion and to respond to it. Maybe you'll cry if you're sad. Take a break and maybe some time to work to yourself, to work through some anger. Laughing when you're happy and you're able to articulate the emotion. I feel really angry right now. And then articulate what you need. Like, I just need a minute to sit with this. Though, got to keep this in mind. Just because you regulate and express the emotion, it doesn't mean that the other person you're with will either hear it right or cooperate. But whether you do it alone or with someone else or in a place where you can share it, you name it, you express it, you feel it, you process it. Not any way you want, that's what I mean by the sort of appropriate, but you express it, you feel it. The second way is you recognize that your emotion is yours and it may not necessarily be someone else's. Healthy regulation means owning your emotion as your emotion. Sort of this idea of, I feel this, but I recognize that someone else may not. And not shove your emotion down someone else's throat. You wouldn't say things like, how can you not be angry? How are you not sad right now? That's not good regulation. Third, you express your emotion appropriately. You do not scream and frighten people because you're angry. You do not threaten because you're really angry. You don't engage in violence. You don't break things. You don't just walk away. You don't just hang up the phone without explaining that you're stepping away for a moment. People who hang up phones are often dysregulated. Number 4, you read the room. We aren't 2 years old anymore. We can't just express emotion the way we want, anytime we want. Now listen, you may not start sobbing in the middle of a staff meeting or start making someone else's conversation or stuff about you and your friends solely, for example. We don't turn off our feelings, but we also cannot expect the world to stop for our feelings. So it's knowing them, feeling them, identifying them, but also reading the room. Number 5, we figure out techniques that work for us to manage emotion. Meditation, mindfulness, breathing, exercise, the things that help us manage these feelings that we identified and we need to feel, but we can't just spew our feelings all over the place whenever we want. Listen.
How did y'all like that? All right. She was breaking it down. Dr. Ramani. Okay, she talked about a few things. I'm only going to point out a couple. All right, she talked about how you have to give yourself permission to feel. Acknowledge those feelings that you have. Acknowledge those emotions. Don't just hover over it or let it, do what it needs to do. Not let it do what it needs to do. You need to let it do what it needs to do. I hope that makes sense. But just acknowledge it. Don't cover it up. Don't put it under a bushel. Really deal with it head on. Own your emotions and recognize that there are other people who won't feel the same way. Don't beat them up for that. And don't say, oh, how can you not feel this way? Everybody's wired differently. People respond differently. Some people are emotionally disconnected. I being one of them, you know what I mean? So some things might take me a little longer to register and to actually feel. That might take someone immediate response, okay? Another thing she said was express it appropriately. All right, she was going in, but we are going to move on, okay, to our next segment. All right, but what did y'all think about that? Do y'all agree with what she said? Do you disagree? She talked about narcissism a little bit. Do you resonate with anything that she talked about? Let me know in the comment section. All right, but let's get into this next clip.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Top Think. Today we'll learn about the power of not reacting and 12 habits to control your emotions. Now, let's begin. Do you know someone who gets angry, anxious, or upset over the smallest things? A surprising number of people have trouble restraining their emotions, especially during periods of stress and uncertainty. When something doesn't go their way, they get overwhelmed by extreme feelings like rage or distress, transforming even the most minor conflicts into damaging and embarrassing situations. For example, let's say you're debating with someone about a subject that you both care about, like sports or politics. All you want to do is make your points, but the other person seems to be getting angrier and angrier. Perhaps they raise their voice or make derogatory comments about you or your beliefs. What starts as a friendly debate escalates into swearing, name-calling, and personal criticisms. Why? Well, because not everyone knows how to control their emotions. When they hear something they don't like, many people react impulsively like a wave of frustration and volatility is just crashing onto their heads. These people may be prone to feelings of defensiveness as if any opposition is an insult to their character. They might become angry that people aren't validating their ideas or because they're struggling to communicate exactly what they mean. Now, once these emotions start swirling in their heads, they're likely to make bad decisions. They may become desperate to get their way, damaging their relationships and hurting the people that they care about. Only after the dust settles do they realize the damage they've done. If you find yourself in a similar situation where your emotions are tested, how can you prevent your emotions from spiraling out of control? In this video, we're going to discuss 12 powerful habits anyone can use to master what's known as non-reacting. The basic idea is simple. By recognizing extreme emotions and delaying impulsive reactions, you can make good decisions when it matters most, and these habits will help you do just that. Many of these tricks and techniques are employed by highly disciplined people every single day. Like exercising physical muscles, it takes time and consistent effort to build real emotional discipline. But with these everyday habits, you'll learn to control your emotions and navigate any situation with patience and composure. Number 1. Chemical countdown. When you experience an emotional conflict, chemicals rush into your brain that motivate extreme reactions and impulsive behaviors. If you want to control your emotions, you need to wait for that rush of chemicals to disappear before taking action. One simple trick is to close your eyes and count to 5. During those 5 seconds, the chemicals in your brain will slow down enough to see your situation clearly. Yeah, I know it sounds simple, but those 5 seconds can spare you from years of impulsiveness and regret. Number 2. Find your roots. When you feel strong emotions bubbling up inside you, try searching for the root of the problem. In other words, ask yourself why you might be feeling the way you're feeling. If you're impulsively angry about something someone said, ask yourself why their comment triggered such a strong emotional reaction. This habit immediately changes your perspective, forcing you to step back and analyze your emotions from the outside. This instantly puts you in a position of emotional control, and it reveals what's really causing your distress. Often the source of a feeling isn't what it appears. Once you find it, you can face the actual problem without doing damage to yourself or others. Number 3. Sources of resentment. Many of us have a bad habit of stewing on feelings of anger or resentment. All right, let's say you have an argument with a friend. You both walk away feeling hurt and irritated, but instead of expressing those feelings and finding a solution, you allow your anger inside you to simmer and to grow. Over time, you may even lose track of why you were angry in the first place. The longer you wait to resolve these feelings, the harder it becomes to make those emotions go away. This is true of many negative emotions like sadness or embarrassment. Ignoring these feelings can create lasting emotional turmoil, so speak up and resolve your feelings before it's too late. Number 4. Name your emotions. We often struggle to control our emotions because we don't really know what we're feeling. All we recognize is a swirling.
You know what that means, don't you? You gotta come back next month to hear the rest of what was put down today, okay? Because Dr. Ramani and Top Bank, they both came with some important information. So come back and hear what they have to say for next time. All right, but something that was talked about in this last clip was a chemical reaction, having sources of resentment, knowing where it's coming from and speaking up instead of holding it in, bottling it up, and letting it simmer and grow until you blow up, which is not a good, healthy emotional response. Okay, we're trying to be healthy emotionally this year, and in order to do or have different, we have to do different, okay, and be different. But we can't do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. We have to change it up, okay? All right, and then he also talked about naming your emotions. If you cannot identify how you're feeling, you can't address it the proper way. So learning how to really understand what it is that you're doing, where you're coming from, how you're feeling in that moment, and facing that head on so you can move forward with that. That's what needs to be done. Okay. All right. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back and welcome to those who have tuned in this time. We appreciate you for coming back every single time and listening to our topics. If you have any topics that you would like us to discuss, drop them in the comments or DM us or email us so that we can add it to our queue, because we have a whole list going. All right. And we can always use more topics, especially if it's something that you hold dear to you that you want to hear here. All right. Any questions that you might have that's not relevant to our topics, you can always submit them or ask them during the live, and we'll take some time out to answer those questions. All right. So don't be afraid. All right. And if this blessed you and helped you out a little bit, and you got some information from it, go on and share this out with somebody. Let them know about it. Supporting is not always monetary. Supporting can be word of mouth, sharing it out with someone, helping someone else out. All right. But again, I hope you all, took something from it as far as identifying your emotions and giving yourself the permission to feel, and owning the emotions and understanding that everybody's not going to feel the same way as you and respond the same way that you do. And sometimes it takes people a minute to recognize what those emotions are. Just be patient with yourself, be patient with others, and express yourself appropriately, because there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And delivery means so much when it comes to trying to get your point across, because you could be totally right, and if your delivery is wrong, it'll go right over people's heads. Okay, make sure not to do that. All right, but I love you all, appreciate you all. Keep tuning in. Come back next month for another part of our How Can We Overcome Emotions. But thank you so much for your time, and until next time, I want you to remember to stay true to yourself, love yourself, treat yourself with the utmost respect, so you can love and treat others the same. Remember that you are uniquely designed and one of a kind, so don't let anybody stop your shine. Until next time. Intelexx here, and welcome to Intelexx Artrepreneur Agency, the Indeed for Artists. If you want to be a part of the intellectual community, check us out. We have so much going on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and everywhere in between. And we even got our own app, okay? So make sure to check us out. Go to Intelexx.com. Go to our link tree. Look us up on social media at Intelexx APC so that we can best serve you. All right, we thank you so much for being a part of our vision. We appreciate you, and we wouldn't be here without all of our amazing subscribers and supporters. Don't forget to sign up for the talent show every month, and someone always leaves with the prize. And don't forget to take advantage of all of our special offers, our events, our merch, our resources, our referrals, because we are here to serve you, okay? And thank you for the love. Until next time.